Sir, you need to show me some ID before I let you in. I don't think you belong here, so ID now or you're going right back home.
Officer, I don't need to show you my ID. I'm a detective, sir, and I need to get in because the awards night is going to start soon.
I don't care about who you are. Just show me your ID now.
You ever notice how a single moment, one wrong assumption, can change your whole life? That's exactly what happened to Detective Terrence Matthews. One choice by another cop cost Terrence 15 years of his. Here's how it all unraveled in the middle of what should have been the best night of his career. Picture it, the sun setting, painting the glass lobby of Grandview Tower in gold. Terrence Matthews stands tall by the elevator, straightening his cufflinks, dressed sharp in a tailored black suit. He's not just anyone tonight. He's the guest of honor, invited by the mayor for 2 decades of service. He's supposed to get an award, and he earned it, every bit. But just as he's taking it in, Officer Graham Whitlock steps in front of him. 35, badge shining, but it's the attitude that really glints. Whitlock's fingers tap his radio, body cam blinking red, catching every second, but he doesn't see a colleague. He sees a problem. "Excuse me, sir, can I see some identification?" Whitlock says, his tone cold as marble. Terrence stays calm, keeps it professional. "I'm here for the awards ceremony, Detective Terrence Matthews." He doesn't get an ounce of respect in return. Graham sizes him up, eyes narrowed. "I didn't ask what you're here for. I asked for ID." Terrence stands his ground. "I told you who I am. I'm a detective, invited by Mayor Harper." Graham smirks, not even pretending to believe him. "Sure you are. Look, you can't just walk in here. This is a high-profile event, invitation only. I need to see your ID." Terrence feels the insult, but he's used to it. He's dealt with plenty of guys like Whitlock, guys who look at a black man in a nice suit and assume the worst. But he's not backing down. "I have every right to be here," Terrence says, voice rising. "And I'm not showing you anything. You have no reason to stop me." Right then, the elevator dings. Out step a group of white men in tuxedos, laughing, holding champagne. Whitlock barely glances at them, doesn't ask for ID, just nods and lets them pass. Terrence points it out. "You see that? You didn't ask them for ID, not one of them." Graham's jaw tightens. "Because I said so. Now I'm going to ask you one more time. Show me your ID or you're not getting past me." 50 years old, Terrence has spent his life facing this kind of thing, and he's not about to fold now. "I don't answer to you." "I'm not going anywhere." Whitlock's hand moves to his cuffs. "Wrong answer. Turn around, hands behind your back." Terrence's pulse is steady. "You're making a mistake," he says. Graham doesn't care. "The only mistake here is thinking you can walk into this building without following protocol. Now turn around, or I'll make you." Terrence isn't intimidated. "You have no probable cause, no reasonable suspicion. Your camera is recording you violating my rights." That gets under Graham's skin. "You're refusing a lawful order. That's obstruction." "It's not lawful if it's based on nothing," Terrence fires back. "You stopped me because of how I look. You let 5 white men walk past and you stopped me." Another elevator opens. More guests pour out. A woman in pearls whispers to her husband. They move on quick. Nobody says a word. Graham grabs Terrence's wrist. "Don't touch me," Terrence snaps, pulling free. "You have no right." And that's when Graham loses it. Grabs Terrence's shoulder, spins him toward the wall. Terrence resists, plants his feet. He's not letting this happen without a fight. "Stop resisting," Graham shouts for the benefit of every bystander and, of course, for the body cam. I'm not resisting. I'm defending myself from an unlawful arrest. Terrence's voice rings out. Now people stop. Phones come out. Graham gets the cuffs on, tight. You're under arrest for obstruction and resisting an officer, he says, out of breath, adrenaline high. Terrence turns, faces the camera. My name is Detective Terrence Matthews, badge number 4718. I've served this city for over 2 decades. I'm being arrested for trying to attend an awards ceremony in my honor. Remember this moment. Graham pushes Terrence toward the side exit, away from the event. As they go, Terrence says quietly, "You just ended your career. You know that, right?" No answer. Upstairs, Mayor Vincent Harper is standing at the podium, plaque in hand, crowd waiting. Detective Terrence Matthews for excellence in service and dedication to justice. The applause fades as Harper waits. No Terrence. An aide rushes over, whispers something urgent. Detective Matthews was just detained by an officer downstairs, she says. The mayor's smile disappears. Get me down there now. In the back hallway, Whitlock waits for backup, leaning against the wall, body cam still rolling. Terrence stands silent, suit wrinkled, wrists aching. Graham's radio crackles. Whitlock, this is Sergeant Dalton. Stand down. We're coming to your location. A few moments later, the mayor, 2 officials, and a police sergeant arrive. The mayor's eyes land on Terrence, then on Graham. Uncuff him, the mayor says, cold as steel. Sir, this man was, I said, uncuff him now. The sergeant steps in, unlocks the cuffs. Terrence rubs his wrists, straightens his jacket. The mayor shakes his hand. I'm sorry. This should never have happened. It was all recorded, Terrence says quietly. The mayor turns to Graham, anger clear. You just arrested one of the best detectives this city's ever had on the night we were honoring him. I want that body cam footage secured. 3 days later, the body cam footage is reviewed by Internal Affairs, the DA, and the press. The entire city watches the video. Terrence calm and collected. Graham aggressive from the jump. The 5 white men passing without question. The demand for ID. The arrest. The footage goes viral. Protests break out. People want accountability. Detective Matthews sits at home with his wife Angela. She squeezes his hand. They're finally seeing it, she says, tears in her eyes. They're finally seeing what you've been dealing with. Terrence nods. Took a body cam and a public stage, but yeah, they're seeing it now. The investigation uncovers Graham Whitlock's history, complaints from black citizens, aggressive stops, a pattern buried for years, but not this time. The DA, Rebecca Stiles, announces charges: deprivation of civil rights, false imprisonment, assault under color of authority. At trial, the evidence is overwhelming. The video, the witnesses. Experts testify Graham had no grounds for the arrest. The defense argues he was just following protocol, but the jury isn't buying it. Guilty. All counts. Sentenced to 15 years in federal prison. Terrence doesn't cheer. He just lets out a breath he's been holding for months. Justice, finally. But the damage is done. The humiliation, the anger, the sting of being treated like a suspect where he was supposed to be celebrated. The city settles with Terrence. $600,000, an official apology, mandatory reforms, and bias training. Terrence takes the settlement, but it doesn't feel like a victory. He's just tired. Angela asks him, "Was it worth it?" He thinks for a long time, then says, "Yeah, because the next black man who walks into that building shouldn't have to go through what I did. If my fight makes that less likely, then it was worth it." 6 months after the trial, Terrence stands before a room of new police cadets, teaching professionalism, integrity, what it means to serve. He tells them what happened. "The night I was supposed to be honored, I was arrested, not because I broke the law, but because an officer decided I didn't belong." He doesn't sugarcoat it. That officer is serving 15 years in prison. His career's over. His life changed forever. Why? Because he let his prejudice dictate his actions. Because he used his badge as a license to control, not to serve. One cadet asks, "Do you think things will really change?" "That's the question," Terrence says. "I don't know. But change only happens when people refuse to accept the way things are. I could have just shown my ID, swallowed my pride, but I didn't. Because the moment you accept being treated as less than human is the moment you teach others it's okay to do it." He leaves them with this: your dignity is not negotiable. Terrence's case becomes a turning point. Town halls, policy changes, new training, the whole city forced to face hard truths. He retires after 24 years, not broken, but ready to build something new. He starts a nonprofit, teaching kids in tough neighborhoods their rights, how to stand up, how to survive and thrive. A teenager asks him, "Weren't you scared when you got arrested?" "Yeah," Terrence admits. "Fear's real. But I was more scared of what would happen if I didn't stand up. Dignity matters." In the end, the scars from that night didn't disappear, but they proved something tried to break Terrence and failed. Graham Whitlock's sentence became a warning to every officer. Accountability is real. Body cam footage from that night becomes required viewing for all new recruits. Terrence doesn't call himself a hero, just a man who refused to bow. The money helped build his nonprofit, help families who need it. Years later, when folks ask if he'd do it again, he says yes. Because justice isn't just about getting the right outcome. It's about never letting injustice slide in the first place. So, what do you think? Was justice really served? Could 15 years ever balance the scales for what happened? What would you have done if you were Terrence? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if this story made you think, hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around. Real stories, real people, every week. See you in the next one.